A super interesting comparison episode, Tesla Model Y against Tesla Model X. And we have it both as the performance versions, the Model Y Performance against the Model X Plaid. Here with Thomas Nadegefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the front design. You can see both are somewhat similar. The Model Y, as the smaller model, of course, also looks a little bit sleeker in the front. Daytime running light is in the top part here, whereas with the Model X, we have it here in the lower part, a little bit wider, and it looks a little bit stronger in the front, but both, of course, optimized for aerodynamic performance. Let's start with some basic facts. These are, as I said, the performance models each, and that means acceleration figure here with the Model X Plaid, less than 3 seconds, and with the Model Y Performance, less than 4 seconds. The exact figure always depends if you take a rolling start or a start from standstill. And battery-wise, Model X around 100 kilowatt hours, and the smaller model, the Model Y, around 79 kilowatt hours. Resulting from this battery difference, there are also range differences. Yes, the Model Y has a little bit lower consumption, so it's not as large as you might expect, but our winter testing showed that the Model X comes to like 450 kilometers of winter range, so about 280 miles, and the Model Y more like 370 kilometers or 230 miles. And in summertime, you can add for each one like 100 kilometers or 60 miles as an additional range. We have to talk about the length difference. The length at 4.75 meters or 187 inches for the Model Y, and the Model X is actually 31 centimeters or 12 inches longer at 5.6 meters or 199 inches. Wheels, by the way, with the X you go 20 inch or 22 inch here with the Plaid model, and with the Model Y you're always at 21 inch here with the performance model. But I think the main reason why they look the way they are is aerodynamics actually. That's where Tesla is also very well situated in the game. The visual part here of the rear is once again kind of similar. The performance Model Y has here this small carbon fiber lip, whereas the Model X here has the bigger wing right there. Tail lamps are also kind of similar, but what's different is technology-wise, they both have one electric motor in the front, but at the rear, here it says dual motor concept, but that's overall. So one in the front, one in the rear for the Model Y. And with the X, it's one in the front and two at the rear, one for each wheel to give you even more performance and the acceleration actually. To me, the crucial technology difference is that for the Model X, you automatically get the air suspension. This will be a big difference in the driving part later on, but how big will the difference be? We'll find out. Heading to the interiors here, door handles are different. This is the Model Y door handle. Like this, you have, let's say, more physical contact. Inside of the doors, soft touch here in the top part. This is nice here, this matte wood insert, and then with the microfiber right here. I like it actually, and it's pretty clean indeed. And then minimalism is the theme of this interior steering wheel, just with the two buttons. And then here the seats, look at them, they are pure leather red, either here in black or white is also possible. So the whole interior is animal-free. That's where Tesla is also among the leading brands indeed. Then seating comfort, the seat is not too large actually. This will also be a big difference to the Model X. Here with 1.89 meters or 6'2", size-wise it does work here with headroom and so on. Yeah, you sit comfortably, it's no problem. It's also soft enough. It's just that when you're tall, then you don't feel as the seat would be, you know, ideal for you. I feel that it should be a little bit wider actually, but you'll see how it plays out in the X very soon. Interior cockpit overview, I would like to know from you, is it cool and clean, or is it just not enough for you? Please tell me in the comments. Then you see the speed is just here, so there are no digital instruments whatsoever, just this 15-inch screen. In the Model X, the screen is now a little bit bigger. I really love the matte wood here, but there's no combination, the matte wood and the white interior. That would be, I think, pretty cool indeed. Steering wheel here, very small indeed. And then you have, of course, everything in the screen here, also the climate control in the lower part. And then here you have two inductive chargers and more space than here in that middle console. Then infotainment up close. Cool things, of course, always this camera view right here to the sides, and this is then a main camera view. Thing is that both Teslas, they just have Bluetooth connection to your phone, no Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto. I think that's a mistake. Tesla says, hey, our system is so cool, we don't need that stuff, but people want to use their CarPlay actually. Then you control everything from the car right here. And the car internal GPS is just right here. It is good, responsive, also has good guidance and so on. And well, you will have to use that one because there is no CarPlay or Android Auto. Second row, well, does fit, but nothing much more. And then headroom is actually also okay. Seating comfort overall fine. Of course, Tesla is using these, these dedicated EV platforms that you don't have any middle tunnel, and therefore you can also sit here in the middle part very well. Also, where you put your legs and so on. So this is indeed 5 adult proof. Accessing the Model X here, flush door handles as well, but then you don't have physical thing. And then here, this automatic door opening, quite cool actually. And then you also have, whoa, yeah, this helping closing function. And then there is the soft close. So when I'm directly close here, it does also open. Yeah, it's not too hard, but you have to be aware of that. You shouldn't park them too close actually. Then inside here, soft touch materials. This is here all in white, but there's also a black styling available if you like. Model X, yoke steering wheel, so it's open top, but you can also go for a normal round one. I would advise you to go for that because parking in and out with grabbing over is kind of tricky indeed. But this is the spaceship actually style. Then here the seats, they are completely different. Look at that. They are, more voluminous, have more bolstering here. Perforation as well for more passive ventilation, but also active ventilation possible. And white, black, or also beige style is available. And let's get inside because the seating comfort indeed is just better with the Model X, especially if you're a little bit taller. Then they just hold you better. Actually, you can, at the same time move a little bit better. So it is just more comfortable in the front seating position. Headroom, also plenty available, no problem. So indeed, the seating comfort is definitely better here with the Model X. Interior cockpit overview of the Model X. Here, this 17-inch screen, so it's a little bit bigger. Once again, you can also have the normal steering wheel, but here with the yoke, you have to think that when you're parking in and out here, for example, you have to find a technique to grab over, like this, for example. So this will work for parking in and out, but I really have to say, when you really go left and right and left again, this is more practical with a normal steering wheel. This is, however, in a way cool when you do like this racing style, while driving, then it's fun actually. And also here the turning indicators are on the steering wheel, and we also have the inductive charging pads. By the way, here the key card actually to drive the vehicle, you put them here instead of down there with the Model 3 and the Model Y. And then you can slide open this middle console and also have cup holders here and more space. Build quality wise, basic I would say. This is great. Nice. This is actually the romance mode, and it not only does the visual thing, but you maybe also heard it on the microphone, it also boosts up the heating. And you can also do your gaming thing here with using your actual steering wheel then for this buggy racing. Yeah, it's really impressive. Maybe, against some boredom when you are on the parking lot and waiting for someone or so. Putting in the gears works like this now. You swipe here forward because you have no stalk column left here, and then reverse for that. I don't think it's a good solution to do it in the touchscreen. There is also, at least in the US, this automatic program available that you don't have to do anything, that the car decides for itself. But I'm still not convinced how that is going to work. Maybe you can elaborate more on that. On this vehicle here, it does not work. And the alternative would be down here, that you select the gears right there. But these here, they only appear, so they disappear, and then they only appear when you once press it a little bit harder. And it's not that convenient to press it. But that would be then the, at least half alternative here. See, you have to really press deep in there. Again, not a convenient solution. Then the Falcon doors here, wing doors with the Model X. Always spectacular, but always useful. I'm not sure. And then this here is a 6-seater setup. The Plaid only comes as the 6-seater. It is cool also when you have kids and they go here in the middle and to the third row. That's actually quite cool, and you also have an easy entry here. However, space-wise, when I'm driving as a tall person, maybe there's even less. Okay, maybe I could put them a little bit more upright, but you don't have too much legroom here. You have to be aware of that. So that's where the Model Y just makes more sense in a way, also if you consider the vehicle length. But of course, these captain seats are just more interesting. But you might ask yourself if they have just done that for a show effect, because it's not that useful overall, but the seats themselves, they are also better, so they deliver you better seating comfort in the rear, especially here, for example, on the co-driver side, I also have more space. That's just a cooler thing, definitely. And you also have this rear screen here in the Model X. Spectacular control of the air vents. This has been introduced with the recent facelift that also came with the Plaid models. Yeah. But that's also when you don't have physical controls, you know, when you do stuff like this. And here you can also watch YouTube, for example. And what would you watch on YouTube? Yes, of course, Autogefühl. And yeah, please subscribe if you haven't done so far, that you can also watch Autogefühl on your Tesla. Third seating row here. Well, it rather works for, let's say, children in between. So not that small that they need child seats, because there's no ISOFIX as well. But not that tall, but they're like tall as me. So have to put my knees right here, otherwise not possible, maybe for shorter trips and so on, but it's still good to have the possibility. And frunk comparison, you can see here that also size-wise it makes sense in a way. Here the Model Y frunk is well usable, a very large frunk indeed, so they really know their stuff. But however, the one of the X is just bigger and you can just put more stuff in it. It also has this nicer fabric covering from the inside. So liter figure-wise, the X of course leads it, especially in the 5-seater configuration. The Plaid model, only 6-seater configuration. Yeah, around 2,600 liters max, 2,200 liters max approximately. But the thing is, what is the concise measurement, and is one really way more practical? Well, here with the Y, this cover here for the trunk doesn't feel that premium, I have to say. And also here, this, you know, this felt quality here, this fabric quality. This is not what you would expect at such a price and from a premium vehicle, actually. Yeah, is Tesla actually a premium brand? What's your take on that? There is plenty of space, definitely. And when you also have the width here, this is a little bit less than 1 meter or 40 inches between the wheel arches. That's not the best result. It's more like, you know, like 90 centimeters or 35 inches. However, the length here is 110 in meters or 43 inches. But overall, of course, well usable, and so much space here underneath, not only for, you can even put like a whole suitcase here underneath. For the total length here, I removed the top cover and now, strange. Ah, there it goes. So now, total length here to seats I would be driving is 185 in meters or 73 inches. So here in the Model X, the length is way longer indeed. So to the front seats, so if you load through in the 6-seater model, or if you have the 5-seater model in the non-Plaid version, you fold the second row, then you get like 2 meters 10 or 82 inches. So if we compare it then, you know, the Model Y was 185, so that was like here. So yeah, this is like how the trunk is actually longer than here in the Model X. It is also a little bit wider, so this dimension here, left to right, is also 1 meter or 40 inches, a little bit more even. So it's also wider, it's longer. The only thing where the Y is a little bit better is underneath here. So there is also pretty wide in the X, but not as long as in the Y. Welcome to Thomas's Comparison Driving Lounge. We start with the small one, the Model Y Performance. It is a little bit smaller, but is it really that much less powerful? We're driving 1 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, and we can launch it out on the German Autobahn. Let's go! 150. And 200 kilometers an hour. Woo! Whoa, that takes time to decelerate again, but wow. That was decently quick, definitely. Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. Of course, the Plaid models have definitely more punch. The second difference from 0 to 1 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, does make a difference. But already here, I mean, if you compare it to all the competitors and so on, you already have so much performance and such a great acceleration. And it's a lot of fun and very well to control, actually. The suspension here on the motorway, you feel especially the bumps, definitely. So, because you have no air suspension here, so that becomes obvious already here. Steering, actually. It's very direct input, so it has actually no room to fail So you have to be very gentle with the steering wheel. What I like here in the sport setting, actually, you have a little bit more resistance in the steering wheel. And that is actually a setting I would probably be driving with all the time. So that is actually very good. Noise insulation here at 1 km/h, 60 miles an hour is decent. So it's not loud in here at all. The Model X also has this active road noise cancellation. We'll also see if that one makes a difference, actually. But so far, besides the suspension that is not the best in comfort, it feels very well situated here on the German Autobahn, on the motorway. And the cool thing is really when you hammer it through, there's always an acceleration reserve. You know, it still can always go more. So I'm not sure whether it's Golf here is protecting the left lane. Yeah, that sometimes happens here. But of course, you know, we don't want to bully someone from behind and be too much or something. But here, I think it feels really agile. You feel that it is a little bit smaller vehicle. It somehow feels more direct overall, just from the weight and the steering input and so on. So the Model Y, I can already tell you so far, is maybe not as quick as the Model X, but it definitely feels sporty in a way that you can better throw it around, and it just physics, you know, when it's smaller and a little bit less in weight, the battery is also smaller, it just feels more agile, and that also is a lot of fun, actually. And parking in and out here, for example, I think it's just so much easier in maneuvering at slow speeds with normal round steering, because you could then grab over and so on at any time. There's no problem. So I really prefer that, and I would just go then with the round steering wheel when I would go with the Model X as well. Here at slower speeds, and when there's a bumpy road, that's why I picked it here as a comparison. Now I like the cover from a sewage system and so on. So there you feel the the downside of the suspension. So this is not the air suspension and here in the Model Y, which we would have in the Model X. And you feel it is just kind of rough, and especially also here with the 21-inch wheels. So the suspension is a little bit better, meanwhile, if we compare it to the very, very early editions. And here also from this is the German build Model Y performance here. So in a way it was also better from the performance model than from the long range model, although this one here is the sporty and stiffer model, and the difference is just that they have been using different parts for that. However, you still feel that this is kinda rough and bumpy. So the suspension, I'm not sure why the wipers go now, but the suspension is still one of the major criticism points here with the Model Y, and the same also goes for the Model 3. It is kinda rough. So if you like that sporty roughness, yeah, maybe then it is something for you. Other than that, it is some kind of a problem. It won't be the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely, always when you have some uneven parts in the road, then you feel every little bit. In general, the Model Y is very agile, and so when you're doing like a quick lane change or something, it's really good. Meanwhile, you also have this camera blind spot monitor, so when I go here for a right turn or right lane change, then you see here camera, and this is definitely helpful because it doesn't have a blind spot monitor in the side mirror or something. I really like about the Model Y that it is very agile in the city, and it's so easy to ease it around. It doesn't feel that large, it is not that large, and that is also a big advantage if you compare it to the Model X. The Model X always more bulky and so on. So especially in the city traffic, the Model Y does have the advantages because it's just easier to drive, easier to ease here and out and there on, and when it gets a little bit more narrow, then you also have an advantage. It might not be the big thing then on large US roads when you are in not maybe in all the states besides New England and so on, but here in Germany it is sometimes very helpful actually to have the smaller vehicle. Alright, let's compare the Model X in the Plaid, 100 kilometers an hour to, let's see. Oh, whoa. Plop, that's 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour. Yeah, substantially quicker. Whew, yeah, so that is a big difference indeed. Yeah, The other one is quick, but this one here really gets your adrenaline going. Yeah, that's definitely a core difference. Also the seats, told you earlier in the interior, they are more comfortable. So it's not that in the Model Y they're super uncomfortable or something, but here I could better imagine just going a longer way, you know, a longer road trip or something. Also this panoramic windscreen, I think it's really cool. You see so much from the sky, this more open atmosphere. I really love that. The yoke steering here on the motorway is actually totally okay. That's not the problem. Just the turning indicators here on the steering wheel, you get used to it, but sometimes you have these situations where you think, well, wait a minute, I did press it, but then it didn't work because maybe like you were slightly off here or something. And this never happens with the stalk column. The stalk column, I never missed an indicator, and here I was on the motorway just, you know, a couple of minutes before I turned on the camera, and I was really missing and then I had to look, and then once again, you know, pressing really hardly. So, and this, just when it fails once, it indicates that the system itself is not properly thought through. So stalk columns for an indicator are definitely better, or at least like Ferrari does, for example, like have a real indicator switch and not a capacitive switch right here. So I don't think that's a good idea. And yeah, but once again, here in the motorway, it's actually fine with the yoke. It's a lot of fun, feels arcade-like, racing game, or maybe also, you know, like Formula 1-like. That's pretty cool. It could be a little bit smaller, I think. So it's very wide indeed. But I can soon show you also parking in and out and so on. And for that, it's really not that ideal. But you can get it, of course, with normal steering wheel, and that's the thing I would actually go to. Suspension, the thing is here, you feel you have the air suspension when you're going over some waves. So there, for example, you have some height difference on the road, and then it is evened out by the air suspension. That is giving you more comfort. At the same time, we have the 22-inch wheels here, and they transport small bumps from the road into your car. So if you want most comfort, you would go with the X with the air suspension, but then stick with the 20-inch wheels and don't opt for the 22-inch wheels. Then you will have even more comfort than in the Model Y. Here, of course, it's a little bit, yeah, better suspension, but then again, you have the thing with the wheels. But overall, the comfort is better because of better seating and also of the better suspension. So yes, a comfort plus for the X. What do you think? Which one would you take like for a 3-hour Autobahn ride? This one? Yeah, this one. Okay. But big difference for passenger or small? Small difference, you say? Okay. So, yeah, I would also say, I would have imagined that the suspension difference is even larger, but I think that is the thing really also with the 22-inch wheels. To me, as a tall person, the seats are the most important thing. I just feel so much more comfortable in these seats here, definitely. Now getting out of the motorway. Here, of course, you feel because of the weight and bigger battery and so on. Yeah, it is spontaneous, or you say rather like it takes instant control here of the acceleration when you hit the pedal. But here in the corner, it just doesn't deliver as much fun as the Model Y. So because the Model Y is just smaller, more agile, lighter and so on, you feel like you want to attack it a little bit more. And here with the X, you feel that especially in cornering, it has its limits as for the agility. So definitely already can say the Model Y is more fun, feels more agile. The Model X, a little bit bulkier, a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger, is better when you seek the comfort plus, going longer ways, you're taller, enjoy the seating comfort, and also enjoy that air suspension, best with the 20-inch wheels. Yeah, and in slow driving here, that's the thing, you turn, and then when you do it like torque steer, like this, it's really hard to catch it again when you have the round steering wheel, you just let it slide. Yeah, so I think some might love it, but I just think it's a very, very bad idea. It's good that they also offer it with a round one here, like this. So when you're parking in and out, here this solution, you need to swipe it here. No one really asked for it, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. So here, yeah, that way back and that way front. It depends if you have like a shifting lever logic. It might be different from time to time or so, you know. So that way then to the front again. So yeah, but when you drive a little bit slower, the air suspension also helps in a way. With the small bumps, then it's rather again about the wheels and so on. But to me, the main difference was really the seating comfort that was better in the Model X. Air suspension is cool to have, definitely. Here, when the waves are being evened out, but the small, uneven parts of the road actually not. However, it feels also good to drive in the city, no problem. But once again, also here, when you're driving a little bit slower, you feel that the Model Y is just more agile and is more fun. So this one definitely quicker, more punch in the acceleration. But both in Autobahn and in city driving, the Y is more fun. The question is, fun or comfort? Which one is more important to you? And what is my final verdict for the day? So which one shall it be? Do you really need to fly? Always a great picture here with the Falcon Wing doors, isn't it? Or are you a little bit more down to earth? I mean, the Model Y performance already gives you a great punch. But also this comparison was also about, in general, about the Model Y and the Model X. And then here the performance and the Plaid to give you a little bit more spice on the Autobahn, of course. In the styling, exterior-wise, isn't such a difference actually. Interior space, well, you don't have so much more space with the X, a little bit more trunk length and so on, but that isn't also the real crucial factor. The Model Y has a lot of space and also has much space in the rear. Yes, you have here the third seating row, that's the main difference, but also not the crucial point. In the front cockpit and seats and so on, there the big difference is the seats in the Model X give you more comfort, especially for tall people. That is to me the best thing about the Model X actually. I love the seats actually, so this gain in comfort. In driving, yes, the air suspension also helps in comfort, but especially only when you stick with the 20-inch wheels and don't go for these 22-inch wheels. But it wouldn't be such a big difference actually suspension-wise to justify double the price. In US like 60k to 120k or like 70k to 140k in Germany when you take these performance models here. So that is really the thing. Yes, the X is a little bit better in some respects, especially in the comfort region, and it gives you a little bit more quicker acceleration, but this one is definitely more than quick enough. And the thing is, the X doesn't deliver so much more that it would justify double the price. That is to me the key thing of this comparison. Beforehand, I would have maybe said, hey, the X gives me so much more fascination that I would maybe say it's still the winner, but the Model Y also gives you more driving fun. And that is definitely also a great thing to have. I do appreciate that a lot. And that's why in this comparison here, half the price, but more fun, then I can live with some less comfort and take the Model Y performance, or in general also the Model Y. What's your take on that? It was a very interesting comparison. We have more for you. Tune in now.